Okay, so this week was jam-packed full of Nintendo news, and today is no different. We got a lot of things to share with you, like a Nintendo Direct could be happening next week. Also, Donkey Kong Bonanza, is it a prequel to Mario Odyssey? And also, there's a major update for Nintendo Switch 2 on the horizon, and so much more. Let's get into it. Okay, so a Nintendo Direct could be happening next week, and honestly, these leaks that suggest this actually make a lot of sense. So if we're going by Nintendo's schedule, next week we would have the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and 11th. So usually, I would say Nintendo would probably release a Direct on either the 8th or maybe the 9th. That would make a lot of sense because the reason why they don't want to release it after that is because Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out the 17th. So they should just make a Direct making sure, all right, this game's coming. Maybe they have more updates for that game. But then if we look at the week after that, we got the Pokemon Presents. So Nintendo is probably not going to release a Direct then because they don't want to squash the Pokemon Presents and stuff. They don't want to mix everything up. But there's a possibility that we could also get it on July 30th. But then if you look at that, if we're getting a September Direct, isn't that just going to be a little bit too close? So I feel like July 9th or July 8th would probably be great to see a Nintendo Direct. Okay, so the next thing we got to talk about here is Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now, there's been a lot of things floating around about this game being a prequel to Mario Odyssey. Now, this makes a lot of sense because in Donkey Kong Bonanza, Pauline is actually 13 years old and she wants to be the mayor of New Donk City. And this all happens, so maybe are we going to be seeing things that represent Super Mario Odyssey inside of Donkey Kong Bonanza? It's very possible. Maybe these stories connect some way, somehow. Hey, it's very interesting. Okay, so there's supposed to be a major update for Nintendo Switch 2 coming out soon. Now, this major update will allow the Nintendo Switch 2 to use VRR. So right now, the Switch 2 cannot use VRR, but there's been some people that tested out the Nintendo Switch 2 dock with the Steam Deck, and it turns out it supported VRR. So it looks like it's not a hardware limitation, it's a software limitation. So there's also been some leaks that suggest that we're going to be getting a major system software update in August. So honestly, that's really cool. This could add so many things and it's pretty great. Okay, so Super Mario Bros. Movie 2. So the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the second part, is supposedly on development, underway, coming out soon. So 2026 could be the year that we get the Mario Bros. 2 movie, which is really, really great, and development in this movie is seemingly really great. Now, Nintendo states that they don't want to announce a release date yet, so they don't have to push production faster than they're ready to release it. So it doesn't end up looking a little bit fast down, so then you know how games are. You give a release date and then the game ends up looking like poo. So we don't want to see that with the movie, and they want to try to make it perfect, which is perfect, like awesome. This is really awesome. Okay, so the next thing is, if you like playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, well, I got the thing for you. You got to stop everything you're doing because this could get patched immediately. Okay, so if you scan this QR code right here, put it inside of your auto build thing, your Zelda notes, and transfer it to your game. Once you have that, you're good. And there is a glitch that allows you to get Missing No. So the Missing No Master Sword or whatever, or the Message Not Found Master Sword, is really, really great. It's unbreakable and it's awesome. So anyways, I just wanted to let you know that you can do this inside of the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If you want the Message Not Found Master Sword, make sure that you scan the QR code now because Nintendo could easily patch it soon. Like anytime they can just patch it. So make sure that that is in your game. Once this little QR code thing is inside of your game, you should be fine. All you have to do is search up a tutorial, and there's going to be a tutorial that goes in depth of how you do it. One great tutorial that seems to do it perfectly is Austin John Plays, so go check that out. So yeah, anyways, the next thing we got to talk about here is there's been a lot of bad news for indie cartridges. So the physical cartridge of indie games on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, since we have these game keycard things, And we also have the fact that Nintendo's only selling 64 gigabytes of cartridge, which an indie game only needs like 1 gigabyte. There's some big problems that indie developers are just opting to go for the keycard route, which is kind of sad because this system doesn't offer the Nintendo Switch style of cartridge. Because honestly, we don't need the super powerful things for an indie game, but you know, they're paying more, so it's either they lose half their profits on the game or they just go for the virtual keycard thing. It's overall something very strange. But anyways, what do you think about this? Do you think this is some very interesting news, or do you think it's not so good? I did a horrible job at explaining the Zelda thing. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section down below. And thank you so much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed. And with that being said, see you on the next one.